Basketball is back tonight in Oakland with Golden State hosting Houston in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to give you a regular season review of the 4 meetings between these two clubs and then give you a total, which I really love, on the game as well. Plus a free play coming your way on Seattle and Baltimore in American League action. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here. This is going to be your Tuesday video report, half price play of the day, turning to Steve Buden's #2 NBA crew the past 5 years, the Cali Cartel. They, of course, were his #1 football crew this past season when they went 27-14-1, capping it with a Super Bowl winner with the Patriots. And tonight, their first playoff pick, a 50-dime release. In fact, 50-dime winner number 22 out of 34 in all sports. And it's a play just as strong as New England was in that little NFL title game. It's your Game 1 side, Rockets and Warriors. Cali is your coupon code for Cali Cartel, C-A-L-I. That's it, C-A-L-I. That will get you the play for half price. Keep in mind, all NBA crews, followed by Buden, past 2 postseasons, 32-18 record, $10 better, winning $6,050. And FYI, little heads up for you. Shawn Michaels, who has made $10 bettors a little over 16 grand the past 25 months, he has a 50-dimer on the same side as Buden's Cali Cartel, and his last 50-dime winner was the Washington Wizards, the 4-point home dog, winning outright over Atlanta in Game 3 a couple of weeks ago. All your other coupons, discounts, etc., including the latest winner from Gabriel DuPont, who has only won 9 of the past 10 days, has only won 21 of the past 28 days, and has simply made $10 bettors, $20,000 since Thanksgiving and $7,400 the past 4 weeks. Big baseball play for him tonight, which you can get for $22, saving $77 off the regular price. Check it out over on the homepage. With that being said, let's get to your playoff action here tonight. Of course, on Sunday, I gave you the Rockets in game number 7, easy, against the Clippers. Last night had to struggle a bit, but Phillies held on for the win in Colorado for a free pick winner. Let's get to this Golden State game. Now, obviously, the line is huge. It's 10.5 points for the side. Matter of fact, since I didn't think of it prior to doing this video report, let's look at the scores and odds section here on my own site. And let's see what the latest total is. 220. Okay, some places it's 221, but you're looking at 220. Now, listen, what happened in the 4 regular season meetings? Well, bottom line is the Warriors won all 4 of them. Now, some people will say, hey, Dwight Howard didn't play in 2 of those games. And I say, hey, the 2 biggest margin of victories were in the 2 games that Dwight Howard didn't play in. In the quick recap here for you, first of all, when they first met, it was like the 5th game of the season for the Warriors. They won at Houston, 98-87, an 11-point margin. Dwight Howard did not play. Then they won 105-93 at home on December 10th. Again, Dwight was out. Then they rolled 131-106 January 17th, and that was with Dwight scoring 23 points and grabbing 10 rebounds in that game in Houston. The rematch was 4 days later, and they rolled 126-113 in that game. Howard just 7 points and 11 rebounds. But, of course, this is the postseason. And as we've seen repeatedly, the regular season really means very little when it comes to applying what you learned to what's going to happen in the postseason. Now, postseason. Rockets took care of business easily against Dallas Mavericks with a capable assist from Rajon Rondo. Last series, as I told you, did the Rockets win the series or did the Clippers lose the series? I believe it's more the case of the latter than the former, because after you blow a 19-point lead and you're playing at home, 4th quarter, you get outscored 40-15. There was no way the Clippers, as I pointed out in Sunday's video, were going to come back and win that game in Houston. So now you have Houston, a team that is playing with uber confidence, visiting Golden State. Will the rest hurt Golden State? I know that sounds kind of strange, but remember, this is a team that likes to play up-tempo. This is a team that you expect to come out flying from the opening tip, but they've been idle since taking care of business against Memphis in 6 games last Wednesday. And let's go look at that Memphis series. They came out a little slow in the first quarter of Game 1 of that series and eventually put the Grizzlies away. But in Games 2 and 3, at home #2, on Memphis's court, Game number 3, they were upset and they were staring at a 3-1 deficit possibly if they had lost Game number 4. But they took care of business. They won that game. Then they come back home. In game number 5, and you figure, and listen, it was a game I had the Warriors too, okay? You figure they're going to come out and they've got the momentum, they've got the confidence, they've got the home floor. They're going to annihilate the Grizzlies after beating them in the past 2 games, beating them on game number 4 with ease in Memphis. And what happens? They fall down, what, by 13 or 15 points in the first quarter? Yeah, they came back, they won, they covered the game, and then they won in game number 6. But The problem in that series is the Grizzlies, as you know, a slow, methodical team. They're going to win the game by forcing the ball down low to Randolph and Gasol. They're a defensive team that packs the lane. Rockets aren't. Rockets want to run. Warriors want to run. I'm looking at 220, 221 and thinking to myself, how is this not like 228? I mean, how can you not play the over in this game? Does anybody out there really expect this to be like a 98 to 87 game? You, over in the corner, you don't count. You've been wrong the entire postseason. Get out of here. Anyway, I'm just looking at this, and I just don't think you can play the under. If you're going to play it, you have to play the over. That's my logic. The other thing you have to consider is that the Rockets are kind of made to order for the Warriors. This is a team, A, that doesn't play a lot of defense, and B, offensively, because James Harden is your de facto point guard. And listen, the entire offense runs through him. They are an offense that just commits turnover after turnover. They led the league, what were they? Let's see. They averaged in the 4 regular season games this year, they averaged a little over 18 turnovers, okay? They've averaged over 15 turnovers in the postseason. They were number 3, and I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. It was somewhere around 16, 17 turnovers during the regular season, number 3 in the league. Now, the Warriors, because they're a very athletic and speedy crew, they capitalized on opponents' miscues. They averaged 19.7 points a game. 19.7 points a game off turnovers. Now, you got the number 1 scoring team scoring over a quarter of its points a game, nearly 20, because of opponents turning the ball over. And that's another reason I think that you got to play the over in this game. Now, how could it end up being under? The offense goes through Harden. Often when Harden is controlling the ball, is he a ball hog? Yes. But when you're paying him the big monies and he's one of the top 3 players in the league at this point, hey, that's what you get. Often everybody else just stands around, stops, looks around because Harden is the guy. The offense doesn't necessarily flow through him. It just is run through him. And if Harden's getting to the line a lot, that means you're going to have a slower tempo game, and that's what the Rockets are going to need in order to win this game. And again, the other thing is, are the Warriors going to come out here and be revved up and ready to run? So you do have a couple of things that are obstacles in terms of perhaps looking toward the under if the over isn't going to cash, but I still think the over is the way you got to play this game. Okay, Baltimore is a 130 favorite at home against Seattle. Seattle's going with Walker. He has a 7.22 earned run average on the season. Okay, that's bad enough. But in 4 road starts, he's 1-3. But his ERA in those 4 road starts is over 10. In fact, it's 10.9. It's almost 11. And he's allowed 38 base runners in 17 innings of work. Meanwhile, Miguel Gonzalez, 2-0 with a 2.18 earned run average in 3 home starts. Coming off a very strong performance at Toronto in his last outing, 7 2/3 innings of work. Opponents are hitting just 2.06 against him. Now, that's an important number because, listen, even though he had an ERA over 4 in 2 starts against the Mariners a year ago, this is a Mariners team that has scored 12 runs in its last 5 games. They're 1-6 in their last 7 on the road. They've lost 10 out of 16 outside of Seattle on the season. On the other hand, you have an Orioles team that scored just 5 runs and losing 2 out of 3 to the Angels here at Camden Yards over the weekend. They're averaging just a tad under 3 runs at 2.93 in 15 games in the month of May and hitting 218. So if you have 2 teams that aren't necessarily hitting the ball, why not take the pitcher that has excelled at home and go against the pitcher that has been horrific with an earned run average almost 11 on the road, especially when the home team, the Orioles, only $1.30 chalk in this game. Listen, you know the batters. You're looking up and down that lineup. They only have 2 batters hitting over 264. One of them is former Oriole Nelson Cruz. And Cruz has gotten off to a great start. And remember, last year with the Orioles, hit 40 homers, drove in 108 runs. But the thing to remember is he did most of his damage on the road. 25 of his 40 homers were outside of Camden Yards. In fact, 68 of his 108 RBI were outside of Camden Yards. So the Orioles 9-3 at home in the series over the past 4 years. Took 5 of the 7 regular season meetings a year ago. No matter the location, I think they're a good bargain basement cheap chalk tonight as your second complimentary play to go along with the Warriors over the total. Best of luck to you guys, and I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this again with, of course, the commencement of the Eastern Conference Finals as we'll take a look at the Atlanta Hawks and Cleveland Cavaliers snooze fest to come.